Alright YouTubers, this is the Disposalist, and in this video I am test riding the Royal Enfield Bullet 350. And you can see I'm just riding out from behind Girton Garage, which is where Haywards of Cambridge is located. And if you've been watching any of my previous videos, you might know that I've kind of settled on using the raw audio from GoPro. In combination with a phone windjammer and a bit of processing in post, it seems to make a good job of delivering the bike noise. I am still fiddling around with what those processing settings should be though, so let me know in the comments please if you have an opinion. The voiceover you're hearing, you can probably tell, isn't while I'm riding. I've tried a few ways of getting good voiceover while riding and there are good options, but this day I didn't do that. I was concentrating on the bike noise. Also, to be honest, I find it a bit of an additional distraction while riding, which I don't need. It's already a bit of a distraction to be thinking about what your camera's seeing and that kind of thing. And also often you end up with your commentary over the top of a bit of video that you don't want to keep, which is a pain when editing later. But back to the bike. You just heard me grunt probably as I went over a pothole there, but actually the suspension is very nice and it rides through that kind of stuff pretty damn well. I've tried the Super Meteor and found the suspension quite hard, and others have said similar for other models of Royal Enfield, but certainly not the case with the Bullet. The ride is very pleasant indeed, as is the riding position. To be honest, one of the only reasons I'm trying the Bullet is because I have heard from other reviewers, and you can see it when you look at it, the controls are maybe slightly forward of the mid that you'd have on other bikes. Long story short, I have a bit of a duff knee and it doesn't like being folded up on. Even some normal mid-control bikes are a little too much for it on long rides. So I need a relaxed, unfolded riding position, and that is certainly what this Bullet gives you. The throttle and gears also give you a very comfortable, pleasant ride. These early sections of the test ride, you can see here, they're all 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're all extremely pleasant just to burble through. The gear changes were very smooth. I actually would have liked more feedback from the gearbox. I don't know if it's this particular bike, but I could barely feel the gear changes. Though I didn't have any problems with them, so fine. And perhaps it's just a feature of low capacity single cylinders, but the engine was very forgiving of your gear choice. It almost didn't matter what gear you were in. The bike just coped with it. If you wanted power, then obviously you could find the right gear and get it. But if you couldn't be bothered to change gear, then you could pretty much burble along in any you wanted. And just there is a fine example that you're not going to get stuck behind slow traffic in rural areas. But as I turn around here, I'm going to show you the one drawback I found during this test ride. I am by no means a speed demon. It's never been what I'm interested in biking. I like classic feeling, characterful bikes, and I like to take my time and have pleasant rides. But even so, there is a minimum level where you're talking about capability rather than performance. I had heard previous to riding that the Bullet was going to struggle to get over 70, but I'm fine with that. What I found though was with the slightest headwind, unfortunately, and the fat lump of me sat on the bike, it struggled to get over 60. And you can see that in the clip above right now. I've got the throttle wide open and it's barely getting above 60, and that's indicated, which actually in the GPS is more like 55. Now, I know these engines do loosen up over time, But even so, I am surprised at this performance. And whilst, as I say, I am not a fast rider at all, I don't really want to be mixing it with white van men and lorries on those A roads that I do travel. Now, I currently have a 1200 Speedmaster, and you won't find me travelling above 55 miles an hour very often, but when I do need to, it's an absolute doddle to do so, of course. A 1200 is certainly well above what I actually need, but it's maybe looking like this 350 engine in the Bullet is slightly under what I would like. Now, if you don't weigh well over 100 kilograms like I do, you'll probably get better from the engine, but I can't help thinking that I used to own a 250 scooter and was the same size I am, and had better performance with it. Now, I know that's not fair. It's like comparing apples and oranges. This is tuned to ride like a classic bike. But even so, it means subjectively, for me, it perhaps rules this bike out. And that's a real shame, because I like everything else about this bike. The classic look and feel is absolutely spot on. The ride is pleasant. The engine is a single cylinder thumping delight. I would love to love this bike, and I do in most ways. I guess what this test ride has shown for me is that I really want Royal Enfield to make a Bullet Reborn 500. So there you are, that's my test ride of the Bullet 350. No need to mention it to my Speedmaster. Let's not upset her, because she's not going to get traded in anytime soon. To be honest, I love my Speedmaster, and this would have had to have blown me away to have made me want to change. There are a couple of things about the Speedmaster. It's lack of range, it's short suspension, it's somewhat lurchy low-speed throttle control that something like this Bullet would absolutely solve, but everything else about the Speedmaster just makes it into a package that is awesome. And it's going to be hard to find anything that'll make me want to change. And actually, I've semi-solved a couple of those problems already. I got a pair of DNA air filters, which have somewhat solved the lurchy throttle control, and got a couple of 2-litre fuel containers to put in my panniers if I go long-distance touring. And in the end, no bike is perfect. They're all a compromise. And as long as they meet your basic requirements and make you grin, then that's all you need. Anyway, what you've just seen in the video is me asking for another 30 minutes and turning around and heading out again. As I said, part of what I wanted to get from this test ride is whether my knee would be comfortable with mid-controls on the Bullet or any other bike these days. And the good news there is I was fine, so yeah, maybe I'll try some more bikes in the near future. I wonder if that Gold Star might fit the bill. So I'll stop waffling now and let the video run on. You can enjoy the audio from the bike. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe so that the YouTube algorithms like me more. Take care, ride safe, see you soon.
Everything all right? You okay?
Yeah, apart from the fact it won't stop, it won't start, we're okay.
You don't need a hand?
But the man's coming out to have a look.
Oh, okay. No problem.